Hello, everybody. Subarna and I have some exciting news to share. We have been given the opportunity to lead church services for the next 7 weeks. And by lead, I mean kids' worship, tithing, like offering, worship, preaching, like everything. Cleaning the church, just locking the door, everything. The main pastor has left. So that means that we are in charge of everything. He didn't leave to leave. He went on a vacation. He went to do some treatments, some health treatments in Korea, which is where he's from, with his wife. And so he entrusted his church to us for the next 7 weeks, the First Nations Church. The church is in Eden Valley, which I have mentioned in previous emails before, and it is a First Nations reservation. It is a First Nations reservation. And so last Sunday was the first time we preached, and it was incredible. Okay. I had one of the staff members from the base come. His name is James, and he led the worship. He was worship leader, and he did a wonderful job. I think he was a bit nervous because he's never led worship in that church before, and so was I. I was also very nervous, but it went really well. We didn't have a projector like they usually have, but which was a problem, which I hope that we can correct because some people have poor eyesight, so it's hard to read on a piece of paper. And they didn't bring their glasses, unfortunately, because they expected there would be a screen. But nevertheless, it was really great. I preached on the cost of discipleship, a message that I have shared before in my newsletters in the past, and every time is slightly different when I share this message. The one that I shared on the newsletters previously is different than the one that I shared last Sunday. But nevertheless, it went really well. I think this time, given the location and given the situation of being in the reservation and preaching to First Nations people, and given the history with the residential schools, which if you don't know about, I am more than happy to share with you. Given the history with residential schools and Catholicism in the First Nations life, I decided to not be so aggressive with the cost of discipleship. Yes, I was very truthful and very real with the point of being a disciple of Christ means that you have to disciple other people. It doesn't mean that you just go to church and that you worship Jesus. It means that you have to disciple other people. Not that your salvation depends on it, but if you really love Jesus, you will disciple other people. And so that was the message, so to speak. But this time I decided to share more stories. I decided to be more giving more examples instead of just information, because I felt that they really needed that. And Holy Spirit, more than anything else, he spoke through me. And I didn't even prepare for the stories. They just came in the moment. And Samana mentioned that she thought it was very helpful. And as a result, I think that I really connected with them in that message. Lovely as Subarna is, she asked me to ask the congregation at the end of the message and after the last song to come forward and come forward if they want prayer for anything. If there's anything that I or James, as James was playing a melody, that we could pray for them for, any prayer request. And 4 women came up and they needed prayer for things like family problems or drug addiction, anger that they're having, healing for pain that they're having. But I'm speaking it on the surface level. They were being incredibly sincere and vulnerable. So much so that after I prayed for them, they shared their name and they whispered in my ear very quietly their name and their prayer request. After I prayed for them, they started to tear up because I don't know whether or not I don't know if the pastor previously did that. I hope that he does. If he doesn't, I'm going to suggest that he might consider trying that. But Samana was so wise to ask that because it seemed like they really needed it. And one even gave a hug afterwards to James, to Subarna, to myself. And that's never happened before that I've noticed since I've been there. So it was, Holy Spirit was definitely doing some awesome things. It certainly was very heartbreaking to hear about everything that's happening in their life, and I wanted to tear up. part of me got a little. I did get watery eyed because it's just so sad. But I was just thankful for their honesty and their realness. I look forward to to this Sunday's preaching, which is. I'm not going to mention what the topic is because I want it to be a surprise for Subarna, but because she's never heard this message before, and I've never preached this message before, but it's a really great message that I really like, and I'm excited to share it. I'm so excited to see what the Holy Spirit is going to do with this message, and I will share what that message is in the next newsletter. We're so excited to do it, and we're so thankful. Aside from the church that we're working at, everything else is going really well. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of stress. Savannah is still trying to figure out how to be in the kitchen and how to co-lead kitchen coordinator with somebody else. It's still a process, and teamwork usually is a process. Even my job as local outreach coordinator has transitioned to outreach coordinator, not just local outreach coordinator, still in a local context, but previously the task included for the critical services being accounting, maintenance, cooking, personnel, administrative jobs, critical services. And previously, I was local outreach coordinator for them, or anybody else who from the community and came to want to work with us in any capacity. It would go to me, and I would either help out, or we as critical services would help out. But now my job has expanded to SBS as well, which is the School of Biblical Studies, which currently we are running now. It is a 9-month course where we do an in-depth, inductive Bible study of every single book of the Bible. I'm not a part of that school, but it happens here. And I'm now in charge of making an outreach for them once a month. And I didn't anticipate that. I don't have an issue with that. I didn't anticipate that, which means it's a little bit more added stress to make sure that I give them exactly what they may be looking for. So still trying to figure all this out. Just trying to figure all this out and how I can best serve every area, including maintenance. But there's not a lot of work in maintenance. The person that Samara is working with, her name is Quinn. And this lady is First Nations, but also I believe that she is Indian as well, mixed. I may be wrong about that, but either way, she's going to be working with us in the Harvest DTS that Subarna and I just finished, and so we'll really get to know her. She may even go on outreach with us as 3 staff on outreach. Definitely will be helpful. Prayer requests are that pray for the church for the next 6 weeks. Pray for the message. Pray for the worship. Pray for the response that the congregation has to both the worship and the message, that they come to know Jesus. They want to know Jesus, not just inside the church, when they leave those church doors as well. And more people would come, not because I want to preach to more people. I want people to have a personal relationship with Jesus. And so pray for that. You can also pray for finances as things are getting more expensive. Yes, they're getting expensive everywhere. But considering that Subarna and I live on donations, our donation doesn't go up. It may go down, but they don't go up like with a salary. They might go up with a promotion. So just pray for good stewardship for us, and potentially even more in the future if that's what the Lord wills, what the Lord's will is. And lastly, for a prayer request, pray that there's a part on my car that needs to be replaced. It costs about $1,300. I have the parts. I have the liquids. I can't do it though. It requires an advanced mechanic. If it was basic, I would do it, but it requires an advanced mechanic. So I want ASUS. I want Acura, the model of the brand of my car, their garage to do it, because they do that job all the time, and I'd rather it be successful the first time. So pray for the finances for that. And that is everything. If you have any questions, or if you want us to pray for you, please email me back. As always, have a great day.